Hi, and welcome back to the Research Library here at the Museum of Ventura County. Glad to have you back for another episode of MVC Insider. This time I wanted to share a few items from one of our most recently processed collections, the John C. Orr Collection. Some of you may know, some of you may not, but John C. Orr is a Ventura County native, and his family has been practicing law in the county for 4 generations. And this collection that he donated to us is like an interesting mix of both his family's records from his family's law firm, as well as items pertaining to Erle Stanley Gardner. Now, for those of you who may not know, Erle Stanley Gardner was both a lawyer and an author. He's well known for being the writer of the Perry Mason series, which is a well-known detective character that was a long-running TV series in the 1950s, and I think HBO has created a little bit darker series most recently. But Perry Mason was a fictional character created by Gardner, and he is a criminal defense lawyer, which is interesting as Gardner himself was a criminal defense lawyer. People may not know, but he was hired in 1915 by Harold Frank Orr, who was John C. Orr's grandfather, I think. And he hired him to work at the family's law firm, which was located at the time on the corner of Main and California streets. So if you walk down California, right on the corner where Finney's is, the same building where Finney's is currently located, you'll see a plaque on the side of the building commemorating Erle Stanley Gardner. That's just a little tidbit of local history. But Gardner was a prolific writer. He wrote 82 books in the Perry Mason series alone. Perry Mason was by far his most popular character, and with good reason. Gardner was a lawyer who really valued criminal defense and fair representation, and Perry Mason really represents that. Perry Mason's whole principle in many of his novels is to make sure that his clients get either adequate representation or the help that they need to get out of legal troubles. And he often acts as a detective, and he goes above and beyond in order to do that. In fact, in the case of the Velvet Claws, which is the first book that Gardner wrote in the series, there's a scene where Perry Mason is very disappointed in himself because he has a client that tries to frame him, and he has to temporarily throw her under the bus, ultimately in order to exonerate her. But he's very disappointed in himself, and I think it shows how principled Perry Mason is and how Gardner felt about defending his clients. In fact, in the 1940s, Gardner established founded what was called the Court of Last Resort, which was an organization that helped to provide legal representation to people as well as overturn wrongful convictions. So Gardner felt very strongly about ensuring a fair trial for those, especially those who were low income or who, due to racism or other forms of discrimination, were not given adequate representation. And actually, the case of the Velvet Claws, the same book, purportedly the hotel in the book is based on the Pierpont Hotel, or the Pierpont Inn, down by San Juan. So that's interesting little tidbit there. Now, while Perry Mason is his most well-known character, he did write other mystery books, including the Doug Selby series. And Doug Selby is another fictional character, but this time he is writing from the perspective of the prosecution rather than the defense. A lot of these books that we have here in the collection are first or second editions, and as you can see, many of them are signed by Gardner himself. He was a very prolific writer, and he was publishing and writing about a book a year at least, and he had a habit of getting a handful of books after they were published, signing them and sending them to close friends and family. And many of the books we have in this collection are signed by him. Many may not know, but he did write a lot of nonfiction as well, especially travel books. He was very fond of Baja California, and so he does have a lot of books about traveling and fishing down in Baja California. And the last thing I wanted to show you is this little leather pouch It has his initials on it, as you can see. And I love it because it dates to around the time he was in high school. And he went to high school up by Palo Alto near San Francisco. And it's just this sweet little thing that kind of hints at what's to come. So he writes a love note to his sweetheart asking if she'll meet him late at night. And as you can see, it's written in code, which I think is very appropriate for someone who's going to become a mystery genre writer. And this is the key to the alphabet, to his coded alphabet that he created. Just a lot of work went into this. But unfortunately, she responded with, "My mama will not let me." So, sorry, Earl, I guess it just wasn't going to happen that night. But these are some of the tidbits from this collection that I wanted to share with you. The collection is open for researchers, and we hope to see you at the research library. Please make an appointment. You can come see these collections or many of the other collections that we have available or other resources we have available, and we hope to see you there. Bye.